Okay.
There you go. And that's our Go View page. So if you go to Go View on the test folder, we have Proctor Final, then we have Review. So those are some kind of summary of what's going to be. And in terms of modules 5, 6, and 7. And modules 5 is about working with multiple worksheets and multiple files. And you should be able to create range names, create let's see. Oh, that was module 5. Okay. And I think that's the main thing is working with multiple worksheets and range names. Module 6 is more about sorting, filtering, and working with subtotals. And now they introduce some idea of dashboard. Dashboard is kind of visual representation of those data using sliders and charts and graphs and things like that. Then also introduce advanced if and VLOOKUP, more of VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. And I don't think we need to worry about this too, which is combining multiple cells into one or split. So I think this is, it comes in there, but I don't think it's going to cover it in the test. Module 7, it's more about those three, in terms of functions, those three functions: count if, sum if, average if. Then it's going to talk about pivot table and pivot charts, and inserting slicers as well as those objects into your worksheets. And we have a couple of sample questions. So there's our previous exams from like last year before. And we have 2 sets. So I'm going to go over the second set, which is this one.
Okay.
And then we have sample the data set for these samples. So I already have here, this is the data set. Then the questions is right here in the Word. There we go. So here's the questions or directions. So basically, first few steps, you're going to create a pivot table. So pivot table is it's more of trial and error. So rather than trying to explain what you need to do, I think I'm going to provide you the screenshot so that you can basically make it just like that. Because all you do is just select those columns, then it's going to show in your pivot table. Okay, so let's do it actually one by one. So here we go. So working with this one card, let's see, is that the file? We're going to open. Okay, Kane Smart. Okay, that's good. So that's what we're going to work with. So we have multiple items in column A, column B. That's more name of states, Colorado. What is it? Oklahoma, all those states. And column C is about month, different month, and the year 2015 all the way to only 2015 maybe. Then sales is amount of sales. So that's what we're going to work with. Then the step says you're going to create Excel table entire area. Okay, so let's do that. So make sure you are within this data set, then you're going to go to insert. Anytime you are creating Excel table, that's under toolbar right here under insert, click table. So kind of confirming which area you're going to create, then you're going to click OK. Then this entire area becomes one table. But Excel table is just within the table so that you can kind of customize how you want to do it. Or you can filter, you can sort automatically, then you can do other things without manual manipulation. But the other direction here says that you need to name this table as item sales. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go to table name here, title. So I'm going to name it as item sales and press enter. So now this table becomes item sales. So you can refer this table as item sales. Notice that there's one word, there's no space between. Then the other other steps that we're going to do. Column, sales column, we're going to make it accounting format with no decimal places. So I'm going to select column E, home tab, data, number format, then I'm going to make it accounting format, no decimal places. Okay, so that's pretty much straightforward. Then now we're going to work on this pivot table. So we're going to create exactly just like this using Kane Smart. Then idea is we're going to save this pivot table as reason and year. So I'm going to go back to Excel. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and click Insert. I'm going to click Pivot Table right here.
Okay,
there you go. Then you can either create a new worksheet or existing worksheet. So we're going to create a new worksheet. Name, what's the name again? Reason and the year. And notice that we have a pivot chart as well. So that's what we're going to do at the same time. So reason and the year. Go back. So just leave it as a new worksheet. There you go. That's our pivot table. Then we're going to name it since we just created. So reason and then now we're going to use reason as the screenshot suggested. The year sale, that's what we're going to use. The year sale. Then make sure pay attention to these sections, okay? So you need to make it exactly what this screenshot has, so that rows section has the year and region. So make sure the year comes at the top, region right below, then sales is right there. So it looks exactly look like a screenshot. So if you look at this, our pivot table in Excel is, as you can see, it's the same thing. It's identical, okay, in terms of pivot table. Now we're going to work on pivot charts. So because we have a pivot table, all you do is you just go to Analyze tab right here. Then you look up in the toolbar, you'll have pivot chart. So you're going to click pivot chart. Then you select whatever the type of the chart. That will be line chart. So we're going to select line right there. Then click OK. So there's your pivot chart, which is identical to the screenshot. Okay. So that's how you're going to create your pivot table and pivot chart. Number 4, we have one more pivot table. Okay. So let's see where we're going to use it. Okay. We're going to use the same Kane Smart. So from here, we're going to create a pivot table. Then we're going to name it as some kind of, what's the name? Product group. Okay. Product group. New worksheet, yes. Then we're going to name it as product group. Okay. Now we're going to work on our pivot table, make it just like the screenshot. Of course, there's a directions how to do it in terms of words, right? So you see that calculate sum and average sales categorized by product name, product group, and the year. That's not, I think it's not comes up very quickly. That's why you have a screenshot. So you make it just like that. So I'm going to just select whatever is suggested, product group, the year, sale. But I think we have one more item because limited screenshot availability, it doesn't show at the top here. So actually, we have one more item, which is no, I think not this one. I think I confused with the other step. But let's just take a look, screenshot, and whether it look like that. There, last product group moved to row section. That's good. column section, we need to have the year. So I'm going to move the year to columns at the top because that's why we have here.
Mm-hmm.
Then now we have sum of sales. Then we have average of sale.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to introduce more sales. So I'm going to just click sales from here, then drag onto value section so that the second cell will save it as average. We can use that as average rather than sum because sum is already there. Okay. So I suggested the second will be the average. So I'm going to make it the second cell as the average. So to do that, you click the second sum of sale that comes from at the top. Then we click value field settings. Then I'm going to click average from the selection. Then I'm going to make it average of sale rather than sum of sale in the label. Then I'm going to click. Let's see. Let's work on, since we are here, let's work on decimal places. I think we don't want any decimal places. So I'm going to click number format, then make sure it's currency, then there's no decimal places. Good. And click OK. There. So as you can see, here's the screenshot. Screenshot, we have it 2015, 16, 18, then we have sum of sale, then we have average of sale. Then amount is, something like that. I think it's pretty much identical as you can see, okay? So that's the idea of creating pivot table. And I think that's it for this step. Okay.
Okay.
That was step 4. Step 5, now we're going to go to round up worksheets, which is the other one here, round up. So here's what we're going to do. In round up worksheets, we're going to use those 3 functions introduced in module 7, I believe. So here we go, average if, sum if, count if. Those 3 functions will be used to find average of housewares. Here's the average of housewares, average of gardening, average of electronics from these worksheets. See that?
Yes.
We have all different categories, so that's why we're going to find using average if. Of column B, we're going to use sum if. The column D, we're going to use count if, so that it will count each of those categories. So let's do that. B2, so we're going to use sum if. And because we're going to use those data in CANSmart, so we're going to go to CANSmart. We're going to select column A because that's where all those product group is located. Then you're going to select comma, you're going to type comma. Then you're going to show which product group you're trying to add. So you can type it in like, let's say, houseware,
Name of the product.
Housewares, double quotes. You can do so, but I don't want to type it in, and it's more effective. Just go back to roundup and select this column, cell A2, because A2 contains the words houseware. Then later on, we can autofill column A all the way down. So you don't have to type it in again. So that's the second variable in SUMIF. Then comma is followed. Then now we need to select which column you want to use to calculate the sum. So you need to select the column of those number, which is column, it's kind of hidden behind, but that's the column A, B, C, D, E, which is the sale amount. Then press enter. There you go. And here's the formula view. As you can see, because we are using the dynamic cell reference, what they call, because of the table is created, it doesn't show it as A2, but it is showed as item and product group. It's not easy to understand which cell is it, but that's the column A, that's the A2, which is this one. Then the third one, item sale, that's the column E from CaneSmart. Okay, so you need those three variables for SUMIF. Okay, then the rest of the column I'm going to just autofill, because as you can see, all it does is just copy, but the only difference is A2 becomes A3, A4, A5, A6. Then, some will provide it just like that. Same thing for average if. The same logic, only difference is finding average.
Okay.
So I'm going to use average if. Going back to CaneSmart, I'm going to select column A at the top, comma. Then I'm going to come back round up. Then I'm going to select houseware. So that houseware will be used to calculate average, comma. Then I'll go back to CaneSmart, select sales column. So the sales column is used for average calculation. There. The rest of column, again, I'm going to autofill. Okay. And the formula view looks like this.
Like this. Okay.
Right?
Yes.
That's the average if. Then the last one here in this worksheet is using COUNTIF. So we're going to count how many housewares, we're going to count how many gardening, how many electronics by using COUNTIF function equals COUNTIF. So I'm going to go back, back to CaneSmart, select column A, comma, back to roundup. Then I'm going to select just houseware. And COUNTIF function requires only two variables. And the entire column of column A, then which value you're trying to count. You don't need the column for the cell because you're not actually calculating sum or average. You simply count them. So you need only two variables. So that's the difference between COUNTIF and SUMIF or average if. So just pay attention to that detail. There we go.
Okay.
So as you can see,
excuse me, can you repeat that, please? There is a difference between
this COUNTIF and average if and SUMIF. See that if you look at SUMIF, you have three variables within. But COUNTIF, you have only two variables, as you can see.
Yes.
So that's the difference. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So do we have anybody else? Okay, nobody. All right. Then next step, let's go to step 7. Step 7 is about, okay. We're going to go to step 7 and then we're going to work on association. Then we're going to create an Excel table, name it as student group in the area of A1 to K31. Okay, association. Okay, so right here. So in this area, now we're going to make it Excel table again. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click Insert, Table, then make sure this entire area, which is A1, K31 is selected, then click OK. Now this area becomes one table. Then we're going to name it this table as Student Group as suggested. Press enter. There you go. Now, okay, so it says that row 32, just enter some record for yourself using arbitrary data, meaning that at the bottom here, so you have a bunch of, data set, that's a student ID, name, age. So that just asks you to enter some random data set just like that. But I'm going to just make it copy rather than, type it in, except my name. The rest of them, I'm going to just copy to save time.
Okay.
Okay, so I did that. Then step 8. So here we go. Let's take a look. Okay. Step 8 is asking insert HLOOKUP using this lookup table. So what we have is, in this example, we have a student age and post-secondary year. How many years you have in K-12, I believe. Then you have base rate.
Mm-hmm.
I think it determines some sort of financial aids. So the base rate is determined by post-secondary year. Okay, so let's say you have post-secondary year 0, then you have 15, 1 year, 15.25, 2 years, then between 3 to 5, that's 16.5, and 6 to 6, 7, 8, that's the 17.6. So that's what we're going to use to determine column E. But you need to use HLOOKUP. Okay, so before you do that, before you insert HLOOKUP, the step asks you to create name range for this lookup table. Okay, the idea is rather than using N13 or R14 this area, we're going to name this area. So highlight this area like that. Then I'm going to go to name box. This is what we call name box, so that we can name this area as a unique kind of your tagging on the website. So you're going to tag this area as whatever is unique. But in this case, I think ask you to name it as a rate table. So I'm going to name it this area. I just highlight it as a rate table. Rate table, one word, and press enter. Now this area now becomes a rate table. Rather than you refer as N13, R14, you just refer this area as a rate table, as you can see. See that rate table is there? Then other names I created, okay? So, for example, I go to name box, name table, see the rate table, click that, see the highlighted, meaning you are selecting this area, okay? So that's the idea of naming area of those cells, okay? That cell we're going to use in our HLOOKUP. So here we go. So we're going to enter HLOOKUP in cell E2 equals HLOOKUP, okay, using how many years in post-secondary. So I'm going to click D2, comma. Then we're going to use the rate table, which is that range we just named it. So I'm going to type it in rates. As I type, it gives us this, same possible name starting with RATE. So I'm going to just double click rather than type all the way. So I'm going to just double click rate table, comma. So this area is selected, as you can see. Then comma, then the third variable that we're going to give it is row number. So we are doing 2 rows. First row at the top, second row, that's the rate that we're going to retrieve. So number 2 will be there. Why? Because we have only 2 rows, but the second row is the row that you're going to return. So that's why you need to enter number 2. Okay. Comma. Then at the end, we're going to enter true or false. The direction says you enter true at the end. Okay, so we're going to enter true, true at the end as a part of syntax. There you go. So now we have our answers returned by entering this syntax. Again, exactly the same as VLOOKUP, only difference is our lookup table is arranged in horizontally rather than vertically, So that's why we are using HLOOKUP in this column E. All right, any question? Are you good?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Taking notes.
All right. So that was step 8 using HLOOKUP or VLOOKUP. Then step 9. Now we're going to create another pivot table and pivot chart as well as, let's see, as well as slicers. Okay, so that's step and 9 and 10. If you see the screenshot, that's what we're going to create. If you see it here, that's the pivot table, pivot chart. This is a slicer, what we call. Slicer is another visual representation that you can sort or you can insert from other worksheets, and they are clickable. Okay, so I'll show you how it works. So we're going to work with step 9. So based on association worksheets, then you're going to create those pivot chart and slicers into pivot chart worksheets. If we go back to Excel, we have association and pivot chart. That's why we're going to create all those charts and all that, okay, using this data set. So from here, I'm going to click insert, of course. Then we're going to click a pivot table. Then what we're going to create into this time existing worksheets where the pivot chart worksheet. So I'm going to click this up arrow so that I can click pivot charts. Then I'm going to click A1 so that I can put it in at the top, cell A1. Then make sure you are good. Then you click OK. So there we have pivot table kind of work area. And then looking at the screenshot, there you go. So that's what we're going to select, age, class, elected. That's what we're going to select from Excel. Age, class, elected. Okay. Then I think there's one more item we need to select. Because it says you need to use age and student ID. Okay, so student ID must be selected. It's not shown in the screenshot because, as you can see, the scroll bar is kind of hidden. So you need to select student ID. Then let's make it just like screenshot. Class elected in row section. Class at the top, then elected.
Okay.
Right. Then value section, we have a average of age. So let's make it average age from sum of age, not sum. So we're going to make it average. So I'm going to click this one, make it average. So I'm going to click value field settings. Then I'm going to select average. So now we make it as an average rather than sum. Then what else? Count of student ID. Okay, count of student ID. So that's good, as you can see. Now we selected all columns, so we move things around as screenshots suggested. Row section, good. Value section, good. Then we have all those numbers are pretty much identical except you look at column B, we have so many decimal places so that we can fix it. So I'm going to go to average here in Excel, click value field settings. Then I'm going to go to number format. Then number, make it no decimal places so that I can get rid of the decimal places. Just like that.
Okay.
All right. So that's the pivot table. Then what about chart? So as long as you have pivot table, inserting chart is pretty simple. Just click pivot.
Yes, use the pivot.
Chart. Then I'm going to, what is it? Was it column or line? Column chart. So I'm going to click column chart just like that. There. And also if you look at the screenshot does enable that extra step at the top, at the bottom. So that based on the direction, but if you want to make it very clean chart, you're going to right click on those buttons, what they call right click on the buttons, and you click hide all field buttons so that you have kind of, clean chart rather than have a bunch of other stuff. Just like that. Okay. So we have pivot table, pivot chart, just like that. Then we're going to introduce this slicers. Slicers is just object that you can click items. So we're going to introduce grad student elected slicers. So to insert slicers, you go to, from pivot table, you go to Analyze tab right here, pivot table Analyze tab. You'll find slicers somewhere here, insert slicers right there. Then you're going to select whatever direction says. One is grad student, the other is elected. Then you click OK. So that's our slicer. Then we're going to arrange as the screenshot suggested, just like that, right below the pivot chart. Grad student followed by elected. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to drag grad student just like that to make it fit. Followed by elected. Kind of squeeze in. All right. Then the direction says make it 2 columns. And right now it's only one column. So just I'm going to select first slicer, make it 2.
Oh, okay. 2 columns.
A little bit too small. I think I need more space here. It's going to cover. Somehow I think I'm going to just give it a little bit more. I'll give it some space. Okay, just like that. All right. Same thing, elected slicer, make it 2 columns. Just like that, okay?
Okay.
And just compare that, okay? I have a little bit too many spaces over here, but, it's not really important. So we have pivot table, then pivot chart, then we have slicer. Ideas of using this slices, you can click. So right now, I'm going to click one of this. See how they changes.
Oh, okay.
See that? See that? So that's the idea of using slicers.
Okay.
So they are kind of providing, those numbers as you select whatever the, item. Then you can just click this clear filters and go back to where you started. Okay. So that's the idea of using this pivot table and slicers. Okay. Now, what else we have it? That was step 9 and step 10. Then, now we're going to complete this part, okay, statistics, meaning that, again, that's from the association worksheets. Then we're going to provide the statistics, how many students, how many financial aids in terms of, not the how many, the total amount and average amount and average age of the students. So that's why we're going to provide it here. But using, what is it? Using subtotal function, okay? Not just total, average, count function, but you need to use a subtotal. The reason is as you can see, this chart and the pivot table are more of filtered or selected from association. So if you just simply use sum, average, then it'll show only the total. It's not going to show when you select this, for example, this item. Then it's not going to show a specific grad student's total or grad student's average. So that's why you need to use subtotal. Okay. So here we go to use the subtotal. So you provide equal subtotal, a little different from other functions. As soon as you enter subtotal, then it'll list of what calculation you want to do. So that's from the 1 through, there's so many actually, but you're going to use only so many, like sum, count, average, those things. So first one is number of students. So we're going to use either count or count A function. So we're going to use count A function. The reason is count A function will count only those cells containing data and skipping, those cell doesn't have any data. So that, you count only the valid cells. So that's why I'm selecting count function. Okay. As soon as we enter equal subtotal, then it lists number of calculation, then you select which one you want to do. So you double click or type the number. So I'm going to just double click, comma. Then you need to provide which area you're going to calculate. So in our example, the association, remember we create a Excel table named as a student group. So I'm going to type student group rather than going back to association. As I type student group, see that it display what I have. So I'm going to just, rather than typing in, I'm going to double click my Excel table, which is student group. Okay. Then, so that's the entire area. Now you need to select which column you want to use for this subtotal. Then to do that, you need to provide bracket, square bracket. The square bracket will list columns. So in this example, we're going to use student ID to count. So closing ID, that's it. So 31. So it's counting all students from association portions. So it looks a little complicated because I'm using, Excel table rather than using association, but student ID rather than column E or whatever. But that's the advantage of using subtotal because we have this pivot table and filter data as well as slicers. So rest of them, we're going to use same subtotal. But this time we're going to use the sum because we're going to calculate the total, comma, and which area, same thing, student group. Then this time we're going to use which column? Financial aid. So I'm going to double click financial aids, then closing bracket, closing parenthesis. And it's going to return whatever amount for the sum of those financial aids. Same thing with average. Subtotal. Average is number 1 at the top, comma, student, group, bracket. Now financial aids, bracket and closing. There you go. Then I'll have whatever the amount of average. The last one, age, I'm going to just use the, let's see, what was it used here? I think it's average as well. So equals subtotal. average number 1, comma, student group, bracket, age, bracket. There you go. Well, let's not worry about the decimal places. And again, the point is using how to use subtotal function. Now, we use subtotal function, then we can play with this slasher and see what happens. Now, as you can see, these total indicate, see that there's the total. But as you select one of this, then the number in chart will be changed. See that?
Oh, yes.
So that's the idea of using subtotal. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I think that's the last step. So I think that's pretty much covered this sample test. But we have the other sample, but they're almost same. Difference is probably that one doesn't have this subtotal function in that. Okay. And let's go back to here. But the other one we most likely have is working with multiple worksheets. So let's play with Fleet. Okay. Fleet has there you go. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. There you go. So Fleet has car rental data set, and we have January to December data set. Each month they record how many forecast of those whatever rental car for different type, compact, mid-size, all the way to minivan, and then actually how many actual rental versus forecast. So we try to find the difference between forecast and actual. Then we also calculate the percentage. Okay.
Percentage.
But rather than doing one by one all the way to December, we can use the idea of 3D reference, meaning we're going to group them at the same time. Why? Because if you look at each month, you have exactly same structure of the layout, so that we can group them, so work as a one group. So that's what we're going to do. So let's do it. We're going to do the difference in terms of subtraction, percentage, division, total revenue. We're going to use the sum function. Okay. So starting from January, I'm going to go ahead. And press Shift on my keyboard, hold it. Then you're going to select December, so that January to December are selected. That's what we call grouping. Okay, so all those worksheets are grouped. Then you're going to go ahead, enter whatever calculation you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and click D5 and find the difference between actual and forecast.
Minus.
Then I'm going to autofill. Then I'm going to find the percent change, meaning that whatever this amount divided by forecast. Okay, so equals difference divided by forecast. Give us decimal places. I'm going to change it to percent style to decimal places. Then autofill. Okay, there we go. That's the formula view. Then for the total revenue or whatever the row 11, I'm going to use a sum function to calculate the total. There, all the way. Notice that this is percent. You cannot add them all. You have to calculate like we did it, the other one, and change it to percent style. To decimal places.
Okay.
All right. And that was January. Well, let's check February, March.
Okay. Everything
see
is.
That it's all effective.
Yes.
So that's the idea of using
Group
3D reference by using grouping worksheets. Okay. Now we have all calculated January to December. Now we're going to work on summary. So I'm going to go back to summary, then kind of consolidate all meaning we're going to add them up into each cell. So here's what we're going to add each month B5 into this, meaning equals January B5 plus February B5 plus March B5 plus April B5 plus. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do 12 times.
Okay.
That's not what we want to do, okay? It's going to take you time and it's not effective and you're going to make a mistake. So rather than doing that, we're going to use 3D reference. So we're going to enter sum function. So in B5 equals sum, opening parenthesis. At this point, you're going to select January. Then on keyboard, press Shift and hold it. Then you're going to click December. So the January to December are selected. Then at this point, you're going to click B5. Notice that in the formula view, formula bar, you see that it appears, meaning that you are selecting January to December, cell B5. Okay, that's it. Then press enter. There you go. Okay, so it's much quicker, much easier than you try to add 12 cells manually. Okay, so let's do it again. For let's do B6 at this time. Equals sum, opening parenthesis. I'm going to click January. Then I'm going to press Shift and hold. I'm going to click December. Then I'm going to click B6 and press enter.
Okay.
All right. So good thing about this is you can autofill. Okay. I could have autofill all the way, but I just want to show it the second time. So I'm going to autofill all the way down. You can autofill across, of course.
Okay.
However, you cannot autofill percentage. You need to calculate.
Percentage.
Percent must be calculated just like you did before. Then you can autofill at this point.
Okay.
Then I think I can still autofill all the way down. There you go. So that's the number. So let's make it this percent style, 2 column E, 2 decimal places.
2 decimal places.
There you go.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
So that's the idea of working with multiple worksheets.
I'm
pretty sure you're going to get this question.
Okay.
All right. Any questions?
No, thank you. Everything is clear.
Are you good?
I'm good.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.